Welcome to Plum Tiniest. Adorable! Look at this! Look how cute! Look how cute. This is the most adorable little space. This up here, this is a big giant power beam. This thing is massive, massive. Goes from back of the house all the way to the front. This is freaking adorable. Look, but maybe like this would be better. You can see everything behind me. Look, isn't this so cute? All right, let's go down. Let's go down. Okay. All right. It's a bed. I designed that myself. The coziest nook for a bed ever. You can bet this is where I will be sleeping. Can you imagine if there was like a thunderstorm and rain and you're just up in this cozy little spot? This is the coziest spot in the whole house. I love this space. I love this. I designed this so that realistically you probably don't want to have 6 people sleeping in this house, but what if you don't want to climb the ladder to go up to the loft up there, right? What if it's 2 couples and they're like, I don't want to climb the ladder, they're older kids or they're younger kids, then they can sleep here. This was the best thing I did in this house. And I found this cool fabric, this fabric, to die for. I had these cushions made specifically for this. And I love it. This is my favorite part of the whole house. It's like this perfect little nook. I love this house so much. Like honestly, when I first walked in and I was walking around, I really wanted to cry. Okay, let's go. We're gonna sit on the floor for this. We're just gonna sit right here on the floor. I made this book for the new owners. I used to do this for all my houses. I don't anymore. Story time with Plum. So when I first built this, because this was the tiniest house I'd ever built. This one was less than 400 square feet. So I called it, and I'm trying to think, I think it was like 392 square feet. So I called it Plum Tiniest. So welcome to Plum Tiniest. And then this was kind of a quote that I had. Oh, and this you're gonna see her downstairs. This was some graffiti. A friend of mine had taken this photo. I wanna say it was in Brooklyn, New York, and I absolutely loved it. And so I made a big mural downstairs that I hung. But anyway, it says, when you build a space, you make a piece of your soul tangible. Plum Construction, hashtag women who build. I feel that. I feel that so deeply. I am a very involved builder. I had my hand on everything in here. This is what it originally looked like. So they made some changes, you know, which, I mean, people do. This was an antique Kilim rug. So was this one. From Morocco. Those were actual antique rugs. They were freaking incredible, but I guess they didn't hold up well to Airbnb. So anyway, so there's a gable decoration out front that I got at Scotty's, and I will never forget when the day that my framer put this up. This is a picture of him putting it up. I literally did a happy dance in the street. Like when I say a happy dance, like literally danced in the street. I thought that it was just the coolest thing ever. Oh my God. This brings back so much emotion. Oh, this book, it's got me. It's got me. Oh, there's the antique gable decoration from Scotty's before I painted it. I hung some gables and he helped me build them. We took like a bunch of gable pieces and then built them together. He's amazing. I finished this house right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I remember thinking, because a sale fell through, somebody was supposed to buy it, the sale fell through. I guess they got panicked because of stuff that was going on. And so I thought I was gonna have to move into this house because all my money was in here. I'm like, I can't afford to pay rent somewhere and then, you know, have this vacant. So I was gonna move in. Anyway, we ended up getting multiple offers on the house because the lady who was gonna buy it, she put in an offer and we accepted an offer before it was even listed. So once we listed it, there were like crazy multiple offers on this thing. Anyway, didn't have to worry about moving in, which actually kind of makes me sad because I feel like I should have kept this one. Of all the houses I built, I should have kept this one. We are so close to the water, you can hear the ocean. So right now in the bedroom, they took it all down. I don't know why they took it all down, but there used to be this antique beadboard here, and I went to GHF, Galveston Historic Foundation, and I picked through piles. It looked like somebody had just dropped like a massive pile of like matchsticks and just like, or like, I don't know, just like dropped them, right? It was just this huge mound. And the amount of time that I spent picking all of these out and then loading them into my truck, because at the time I had a truck, and then I sat outside and cut each of them and hung them on the wall. I did that myself, not my carpenter, I did it. That room was so tiny and I was so worried about it. I'm like, make it feel like it's its own cozy, sweet little nook. And then, oh, this is a sofa. This sofa is so comfy. It's built like a tank too. So this was it originally. I found it at this place called Bluebird something. Anyways, it's in excellent condition. Just wasn't super fond of the gold fabric. So then I found this fabric that's on here now, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was bold, but yet sophisticated. So this is another interesting thing. I had bought all this fabric to use to redo the sofa, and it was a lot of fabric. And I remember having, at one moment before I dropped it off to be done by the upholsterers, I had this moment of like panic. Like, is this gonna be too much? Is this gonna be too bold? Am I crazy? Like, what am I thinking? I've gotta be crazy. Have you ever seen a sofa like this? You know, like I gotta be crazy. But then cause originally I was thinking maybe I'll just make it a light blush pink velvet. No, that would not have worked. This is perfect. And it's held up well. It took 4 guys. 4 guys, these are like 4 framers, like really strong guys to get this thing up here. Cause the thing is built like a tank. I remember I was like, when I showed up with it, I brought cash because I'm like, please carry this upstairs for me. And they did. It was really nice. And I really think it is the centerpiece of this living room. And the gorgeous rugs, well, there used to be rugs in here, right? So this one and this one, these are antique Kilim rugs from Morocco. These are just some more antiques that I found. I don't see them in here. I know this house has been sold, so I'm guessing that the previous owners took it with them. Antique radio from Galveston and an Italian coffee set from a resale shop in Houston. Plum Tiniest is full of history and unique items that you won't find in any big box stores. That's my jam. Oh yeah, this. So I gotta take you downstairs and show you the downstairs, but I found this old wood. It was like rotten and anyways, but it was this, I mean, it was the beautiful antique wood, like the red pine, like the antique red pine. The hours that I spent on these to get them smooth for the swings. So, oh yeah, and also down there, I made a swing bed. Another fun project was a swinging bed made from salvaged doors found at GHF. You can tell I spent a lot of time at GHF. An antique treasure found at a resale shop in Houston. It was rewired and a piece of the bamboo was repaired by a lighting shop in Houston specializing in antique lighting. It hangs above the dining table in the nook. I love that light. Okay, so I love local artists. So this piece right here behind me, can you see it? No. That piece right up there. That is by this guy, his name is Ed Gerke. Absolutely incredible artist. And then there's another piece that's over there. So if you know Galveston, you know that there is this iconic little house called the Kettle House. And another artist named Rosa Morgan, she did line drawings and she did this one. It's iconic to Galveston. Plum, tiniest. I'm actually going to be staying the night here. I rented this, it's an Airbnb. I rented it so that I could get really good film footage because there's a lot to this place. I've actually never stayed the night here. This will be my first time. This is a ladder that I designed and built myself. And you can see up there, you can see the notches, that notch up there. That's so this it has an L bracket, so this will never fall down. It is attached to the wall. One thing interesting to note. So, I thought it would be better to have more steps. That is not true. I kind of messed that up. There are too many steps. Oopsie. Like, each of these is notched, and then a step is slid in, right? That was a lot of freaking work. After it was built and I realized, just be careful going up the stairs or up the ladder. Hey, so you just finished watching the home tour of Plum Tiniest. And as you can tell from everything that I say in the video, I love that house. Like, I really, really, really genuinely love that house. And I think it's important that I share with you the origin story of that house because it's kind of wild. It really almost ended my career in construction before it really started. So when I started my business, I had 2 lots that I had purchased. I was building this 680 square foot house that was a 1-bedroom with a staircase up to a full loft where you could fully stand up. And so there was a bedroom up there and then there was a bedroom on the first floor. And I liked the floor plan so much, I was gonna build it on the lot where Plum Tiniest is built right now. That was the intention originally. Unfortunately, things didn't quite go as planned. I had my permits the day I was putting the pilings in. CenterPoint, which is our electricity provider here in Texas, they happened to drive by and the guy slams on his brakes, jumps out and shuts down the project. He said, I'm shutting down this project right now. And I'm sitting there just stunned. I like literally have no words. And well, I have permits. Like, I can show you, like, here are my permits. And I said, I don't care. Did you not notice that along the side of the property where the alley is, that there are power lines? And I thought, well, yeah, now that you mention it. And he said that basically the diesel hammer, which hammers the pilings into the ground, was getting dangerously close to that power line, which of course, and it's getting close to the high line, which carries just a massive amount of electricity. I mean, you know, it's dangerous. And I mean, honestly, it's crazy that neither I nor any of the piling guys noticed this. Because, I mean, people could have died. And so anyway, thank God they happened to drive by and shut it down, honestly. The guy is talking to me. He says, what are you planning to build here? And so I show him the plans, because of course you had the plans on site. And he said, you can't build that here. As he sat there and explained to me, the Centerpoint guy explained to me why I could not build that house on that property. The house that had been permitted, that I had the permits for, could not be built there. And I said, okay, thank you. I turned tail. I went to my truck. I sat in my truck alone and cried. And I thought to myself, oh my God, first of all, you know, just the panic of somebody coming and shutting my job down. And then the thought of, what am I going to do? Is my construction career over with before it even starts? So I had to take a few moments, but I put my sunglasses on. I got out, put my sunglasses on to hide the tears. And I got out and I told the piling guys, I said, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And the piling guy says, well, as far as the pilings that are, you know, next to the power lines, he's like, we can water jet those in. So that solves that problem. I thought, okay, well, we can get the rest of the pilings in, which is great, but I can't build this house. So then I thought to myself, okay, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to design a house that I can build there with these power lines. And the same footprint of the original house that I was going to build, right? So whatever I designed was going to have to fit the foundation that was there. So I went home, got out my graph paper, and I redesigned the entire floor plan. It wasn't going to have the staircase to a loft. Okay. I send that to my engineer. He re-engineers everything. I resubmit plans. This time when I resubmit the plans, one of the comments that comes back is from somebody in planning telling me I cannot build that house because that lot that I'm building on is in a conservation neighborhood, which I had no idea. Didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently it wasn't caught the first time it went through permitting, and that I had to have a staircase in front. Well, the lot is only 1,400 square feet. The back part of the lot was taken up completely with parking, because for new construction you have to have a certain amount of parking. And then so I had used up the entire rest of the lot all the way up to the front for living space. And then I found out you have to put a staircase in front. So I thought, oh my God. The house was going to get even smaller. So while I'm on the phone with the lady in permitting and she's explaining all of this to me, I start crying. Not my finest moment. And I just remember things kind of going silent, and she said, do I need to give you a moment? I said, no, thank you. I said, I will redesign and I will resubmit as soon as I can. So again, pull myself together, like, okay, Christine, you can do this. So I go back to the graph paper. I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, now it's going to be like 390 square feet. This thing is tiny. And it's still going to be expensive to build. I mean, these houses, building in windstorm, they're expensive. There's a lot of extra things you have to go into. So I thought my price per square foot on this house is going to be astronomical. But I mean, it's got to be built. I got to do this, right? So I redesigned the floor plan, figure out what the minimum bedroom size is that I can get away with and still pass inspection. And I believe it was 70 square feet. So the bedroom is literally 70 square feet. And I remember being worried because it was so tiny, and I thought, this is basically a room for a bed, and that's it. Anyway, send it back through permitting. They approve it. But I was still worried about the fact that this is likely going to be an Airbnb. I mean, it's a tiny house. It's now a very tiny house on an island. More than likely, the person that's going to buy this house is going to want this to be an Airbnb. So I was very worried about the size of this house and the likely, my ability to sell this house when I finished, right? And currently, the only sleeping area I have is this very tiny bedroom, and I did have a loft, but it's a staircase to a loft, and it was low ceilings, and you know, really a lot of people don't like climbing a ladder, and I understood that. So that out of sheer desperation and what was I going to do, I came up with the idea of turning that dining nook into a sleeping area, because that dining nook happened to be the exact dimensions of a full-size bed. And I thought, well, how cool is this? Because you have windows all around. It's a sweet little nook. So that's when I came up with the idea of rolling the ottoman in at night to make it a bed, and then rolling the ottoman out in the day, and for extra seating, storage, yada, yada, yada. And so I think it was a pretty good idea. And literally that idea came out of just sheer desperation at a moment where I was thinking, how am I going to sell this house? So yeah, that's the story of the origin story of Plum Tiniest. And it's kind of crazy. And I think the reason why I love this house so much is because all those obstacles that I had to go through at the beginning with this house, I learned so much. And I think that it has a special place in my heart because I'm really proud of what I did with that house. I mean, when I finished that house, that thing went viral. I was in a publication in Paris, France. I mean, like, what? Like, I still can't believe that. So I think it has a special place in my heart because I overcame so much, and then it became something so special and unique. And so that's why that house has such a special place in my heart.